You opened 31 tabs this morning. You closed 2. The other 29 are still there, glowing softly, waiting for a version of you that never quite arrives. There is a particular kind of person who starts things beautifully and finishes almost nothing. Not from laziness, not from lack of love for the thing. The starting is the easiest part of their life. The finishing is the part that becomes, somehow, a wall they cannot describe. If your phone has a notes app with 73 notes and most of them stop on the second line, this is for you. Here is what almost nobody will tell you about this. It's not that you can't finish, it's that your brain has quietly built a system in which leaving things open feels safer than closing them. There is a name for it I want to give you. The quiet logic of the open tab. Once you see it, you will recognize it everywhere. And in a few minutes, I will tell you why this is not a flaw, but a strategy your nervous system invented a long time ago to protect you. Stay with me. The reason almost nobody mentions this is what makes it so powerful. Let me show you the small ways this lives in your day. You start a book. You read 70 pages with real hunger. You underline things. You write little notes in the margin. And then, somewhere around page 80, you put it down on the bedside table. You do not finish it. You also do not stop loving it. The book stays there half-read for 9 months. Sometimes you look at it and feel a small, quiet ache. You think, I will go back. You don't. You open a Google Doc. You name it something hopeful. You write 400 words. They are good words. You feel briefly powerful. Then you close the tab. The doc enters a long sleep in your drive alongside dozens of others with hopeful names, all of them at 400 words. You buy a notebook, a nice one, with a cover that feels expensive. You write on the first page. The handwriting is careful. You promise yourself this will be the one you finish. 3 weeks later, it is in a drawer with 5 other notebooks, each one started, none of them finished, all of them still beautiful. You begin a workout routine. The first 3 days are perfect. You feel a kind of quiet pride you forgot existed. On the 4th day, something invisible turns off inside you. You don't quit. You just don't continue. There is a strange, foggy difference. You open a conversation with someone you used to be close to. You type a long message, you read it. You don't send it. The draft sits there for weeks, sometimes months. You are not sure if you are waiting for the right moment or for a version of yourself that would press send. You sign up for a course. You watch the first 2 videos. You take notes. You feel briefly like the person you have been wanting to become. Then the 3rd video sits in your library, unwatched, for a year. You don't unsubscribe. You don't watch it. It just lives there, like a small unpaid debt. You start a hobby. The bag of yarn. The half-built model. The guitar that leans against the wall. The unfinished website. The unsent email. The unposted photo. The unanswered text from the friend who reached out kindly 2 months ago. If you have just felt your face get a little warm reading this, what is coming next is the actual answer. And it is gentler than you expect. Here is what is happening in you. There are several layers, and I want to walk you through them slowly because most explanations of this stop at the surface, and the surface is the least useful part. The first layer is what your brain does with novelty. The dopamine system, which is the part of your nervous system that drives anticipation and seeking, lights up most strongly not when you finish something, but when you start something. The first day of a new project gives you the most intense neurochemical reward of the entire arc. Your brain treats the beginning as the prize. By the time you are halfway through, the chemistry has cooled. By the time you are near the end, the seeking system has gone almost silent. The finish line, neurochemically, is the dullest place on the entire road. This is why starting feels electric and finishing feels like dragging a body. They are literally different neurochemical states. But here is where it gets interesting. The second layer is what your brain does with possibility. The moment you finish something, the project collapses from a cloud of possibilities into a single fixed reality. While the book is half written, it could still be brilliant. While the doc is unfinished, it could still become the thing that changes your year. While the conversation is undrafted, it could still go perfectly. The unfinished project is alive with potential. The finished project is a verdict. For a brain that learned, somewhere along the way, that being judged hurts, leaving things open is a quiet form of self-protection. You are not avoiding the work. You are avoiding the moment the work stops being potential and becomes evidence. Now, this is the part most people miss. The third layer is identity. If you're the kind of person who has 30 unfinished projects, your identity stays fluid. You could still become a writer. You could still become a runner. You could still become the person who learned the language. As long as nothing is finished, every possible version of you is still alive. Finishing one thing means choosing one version of yourself and quietly grieving the others. For a brain wired for many directions, this is not laziness. This is loyalty to all the selves you might still become. There is a part of you that knows finishing the novel means you are no longer the person who might write the novel. You are the person who wrote a novel, and those are different. The first one feels infinite. The second one feels small. And this is when your body does something almost cinematic. The fourth layer is the nervous system itself. Around the 70 or 80% mark of any project, there is a strange physiological event. Your body recognizes that the end is near. It anticipates the moment of evaluation. The shoulders tighten. The breath gets a little shallower. You feel a faint, hard-to-name dread. This is sometimes called pre-completion anxiety. Your nervous system is bracing for impact, even when no impact is coming. Most people, at this exact point, feel a sudden urgent pull towards something else. A new idea, a new tab, a new project. The pull feels like inspiration. It is not. It is escape, dressed in the clothes of inspiration. This is the moment the new tab opens. A fresh document, a fresh notebook, a fresh chapter of a fresh life. The seeking system lights up again. Relief floods in. The old project, the one that was almost finished, falls quietly into the long, slow drawer where all the other almost finished things live. You are not undisciplined. You are escaping a body state that you have not been taught to recognize. There is one more piece, and it is the one that changes how you see all of this. The fifth layer is childhood. For many people who live like this, somewhere very early, there was an experience of finishing something and being told it was not enough, or finishing something and being ignored, or finishing something and being criticized. The unconscious math your nervous system did was simple. Finishing equals exposure. Exposure equals pain. Therefore, the safest thing is to almost finish, but not quite. The almost finished project keeps you safe from the verdict. The almost finished life keeps you safe from being seen at full size. Imagine you are 9 years old. You spent 2 weeks on a school project. You worked harder than anyone in the class. You hand it in. The teacher gives it back with a small frown and 3 corrections in red pen. You walk home with it in your bag and you do not show it to anyone. Something very small inside you decides that day that finishing things is dangerous. You do not remember this decision. Your nervous system remembers it for you. 25 years later, you are still half finishing everything, and you do not know why. This is the quiet logic of the open tab. Now. Here is what I want you to hear, in case nobody has said it to you in this exact way. You are not the problem here. The system inside you that keeps things open was built for a reason. It is loyal to a younger version of you that needed protecting. It is not lazy. It is not broken. It is not a character flaw. It is the most sophisticated avoidance strategy your nervous system could come up with using the materials it had at the time. The fact that you start so much is not a symptom of disorder. It is a symptom of being a person who is genuinely interested in many things, and who lives with a brain that lights up powerfully at the moment of beginning. That is a gift, even when it does not feel like one. The unfinished books and notebooks and docs are not evidence of failure. They are evidence of how many doors you are willing to open. And the not finishing is not a verdict on who you are. It is a quiet message from a part of you that is still trying to keep you safe from a kind of pain you may not even remember anymore. Most quiet, sensitive, multi-interested people live with some version of this. Most of them carry deep shame about it. Most of them do not need another productivity system. They need someone to tell them that the strategy is not crazy. The strategy made sense once, and the strategy can be gently, slowly retired when the body finally believes it is safe to be seen. Nobody talks about this part because it does not sell anything. There is no course for it. There is no app. There is just the slow recognition that the unfinished things are not your enemies. They are letters from a younger self, asking you to be careful with finishing until you are ready. Here is something small you can carry with you. The next time you feel that strange pull toward a new tab, right when the old one is almost done, see if you can pause for a single breath and notice the body underneath the pull. The tightness in the shoulders, the slight shallow breath. That is not a creative impulse. That is a small, scared thing inside you, asking if it is safe to be seen finishing this. You do not have to answer. You just have to notice. Noticing over time is what tells the nervous system that the danger has passed. If this resonated, you already know where to come.